What or who do you think would make the biggest difference in helping young people understand healthy relationships?
I think first, education starts out home. We need to say that. Now, I know like some people may grow up in families that are pretty broken, and it's okay. You know, not every family is perfect. Not every person is perfect. But that ideas that you set, you know, the example that you set for your children is so important.
Because I know we've touched on it before in the app, but so like we're shown so little what healthy relationships look like. And this is a good one, and this is what maybe you should want to aim for, especially in school. Because okay, maybe they give you the signs of an unhealthy one, but it's a lot easier to look at something and be like, oh, I don't have that, than to look at something and think like, you can always sort of excuse yourself out of negative things.
I think there also needs to be more conversations about boundaries. Not just in relationships, but in friendships, and understanding your boundaries. And like, just because everyone's saying it's funny, it's not funny. Like, it might be a joke, just a little push, but what are your boundaries? And knowing it's okay to stand on them. I think, so, you know, oftentimes you might be called stuck up, or you might be called these different things, but, you know, respecting and honouring your boundaries. And I think that starts, you know, with having positive role models and trusted adults that you can talk to, mentoring, different spaces that facilitate these kind of conversations.
I think people as well need to recognise the power of friendship. I think, as you were saying before, if you have really unhealthy friendships, that can bleed into your relationships as well. And as a friend, if you see your friend perpetrating this behaviour, or maybe having it perpetrated against them, maybe you should speak up and have a conversation about it. I just don't think there's a culture of having conversations about things like this.
So young people now, their exposure to things is crazy. Like their ability to access so much. And I think it has its negatives and it has its positives, but I think it has a vast impact on how they see relationships, how they like interact with relationships, and like the trends that show, like, you know, those quotes like, all men cheat. And what all men are trash. What narratives does that create? You know, we have people like the Tate brothers that's like, we look at shows like Adolescence, and like those things that they contribute, whether we like to say it does or not, they do have an impact on our young people.
I think like terminology as well that we use in like everyday society, like saying, oh, he's being or she's being possessive, and how it's sort of kind of been twisted to be a bit more normalized as if they're caring, but to what extent is that becoming unbearable for the other party involved?
I think I agree. I think social media has a lot of minimizing language around relationships. So as you said, you can be called possessive when a lot of the time it's actually controlling, and a lot of this language influences how people think about things. They might not realize what's happening in the relationship is not okay.
How much or how little do young people discuss issues of their relationship violence in their day-to-day life?
I don't think that much, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it's a lot less than you discuss other things like mental health.
I think because social media amplifies the worst cases, people feel as though, okay, I've seen this horrific thing, therefore what happened to me is not as bad, which isn't true.
I also think it's about educating them on what actually is relationship violence. And what like the different aspects of it. I think oftentimes when you think of it, you think of just one thing, and no, there's so much different scenarios that can contribute to relationship violence. So I think it's about giving young people the resources and the understanding of what it is, so they have the knowledge for themselves, and they can see things a bit clearer.
To find out more, download the Youth Endowment Fund's Children, Violence and Vulnerability Report.